Senua Saga Hellblade 2 was for me a very mixed bag. I really finished the game with very strong both positive and negative feelings. On one side, this is the best looking game I've ever played, and I was looking to it to play a really high polish Unreal Engine 5 game. It really looks and feels amazing in terms of its visual fidelity, textures, animations, something that really feels next gen. And there aren't many games that I really take my time to really stop for a second, observe, and actually be in awe of what I'm actually seeing in front of me. This is really a big milestone when it comes to graphics in gaming in general. And it's not just that. I had my worries whether it's going to run smooth because I played previous games that ran on Unreal Engine 5. Some of them look really good, but they suffered from, different issues when it comes to performance. And sometimes, a visual artifact, something that really kind of ruined the experience and immersion in the game. However, Hellblade 2 was nothing like that. It just ran to perfection. At least that was my experience. All the transition between what looks like, at least as I thought as before, should be a video pre-recorded cutscene, all was done in real time. Yeah, it was hard to comprehend that everything that I've seen was actually in real time. I'm really still, as of right now, blown away.
I see through your lies, and I will show them how to see as I do. I will not appease your gods. I will destroy them.
Someone would come.
Now, it's not just, of course, the beautiful terrain, it's also the characters, the animations. Look at the facial expression of the characters, like the muscles. Everything just felt so organic and real.
Listening to the voices that we cannot hear. To the verdadero.
Although, again, not everything was super realistic, again, but the part that's supposed to convey realism felt very believable. Now, there was another thing that bothered me, that when I look at the environment, it felt very static. I mean, I wanted to see, for example, something moves with the wind a bit, some kind of movement, but everything just felt static in the environment. And this is something that made actually the environment less believable. Yes, there's fog, as you can see a bit at the back, smoke soaring that aspect, but fog also to make things more atmospheric, which rendered beautifully on the screen, but it felt too static. I don't know how to explain. So it felt in many cases more like a background image than something as believable. But again, this is in the desert, but not like trees, like for example in The Last of Us, for example, where you want to see the leaves moving, trees moving, everything is greenery. Here it's not the case, but still it felt missing. But of course, the way Unreal Engine 5 works is just, you see all the details. When you get closer, you see high resolution textures. Nothing seems blurry, doesn't matter how close you get. This is just beautiful. You can see here the terrain, so many details, you just can't believe your eyes. I mean, I was just looking around and telling myself, no, this is just unreal. Well, it is unreal. Now, all that great, but what about gameplay? Well, again, a mixed bag here. There are some puzzles, which are special puzzles where you need to align things and view it in different angles and move around the environment, which again, the idea is nice, but eventually it's not challenging and it's pretty boring when you repeat it all the time. But again, nice idea, but nothing really to pull you into the game. I mean, once I did it once, I didn't want to repeat it again and again. And again, it wasn't something too exciting to enjoy to begin with. Aside from that, in this game, you're gonna walk a lot. Some even I read call it a walking simulator. Yeah, you're gonna walk a lot. There's one positive thing about a slower pace gameplay in this game is that you can really enjoy the beautiful environment. It made me wonder how an action ARPG or Souls game would be like if I actually played it in such beautiful environment. In some parts I felt like I'm in a Blair Witch movie, and the other one I felt like I'm playing a Lara Croft game. In another part I felt like I'm playing Death Stranding, so it felt kind of a combination of different things but again, it really just couldn't stand perfectly on its own. Aside from that, there's a forced black bars if you're not playing on the native aspect ratio. However, there is a way to actually change it in some of the config settings with the files from what I've seen, but not having the option to do that and having those black bars, I'm playing 16:9, this will just blew my mind away. I mean, why? Why would you do that? This is a very questionable and disappointing decision to introduce into the game. Now, combat itself felt incredible. I mean, a bit, when it comes to timing and easing animation, felt a bit Souls-like to some degree, but it felt intensive, fun, and exciting. Let's take a look a bit.
Your madness, your curse.
So yeah, so the combat, because it was again relatively slow and in terms of the animation, it just felt a bit Souls-like. So I could get a feeling how it would be like playing a Souls-like game with these beautiful animations, and yeah, I want that definitely. Still, the combat was very easy, not challenging, and of course there's also an option to reduce the difficulty as well if you want even less challenge, just experience the story. Just a note here that the game does support all the popular upscalers, including NVIDIA DLSS and also AMD FSR 3, which is great. And this is the type of game that you really benefit of playing on 4K display, because all the beautiful details and high resolution texture, they should look incredible on 4K. I did play on high quality and also low quality, and try to, again, even on low quality, it just won amazingly. It just looks great. Now, as you can see there, the game was very immersive. This is actually a beautiful place where, you know, you have to see the water. Although the big water animation for the sea was very impressive, here it actually looks really nice with all the reflections. This was the beginning of the game. And the other thing that I really liked is actually the audio. The voices that speak to you, it was kind of going with you and guiding you and well, messing up with your head. Let's take a look.
This dark land, it pushes back. She's so far from home, from all she's ever known, half drowned, and lost in a world still clouded to her eyes, which she won't yield.
So these voices represent, from my understanding, psychosis in the game goes with you throughout. Basically, someone hears are often referred to as the Furies, and represent the internal struggles she faces due to her condition. These voices can be helpful or harmful, but they are a constant presence in her world.
Look, there it is. This is only the beginning. Climb, Senua. You need to climb again. She will fall if she does. She will die. Climb, Senua. Climb. Climb.
Now, taking everything into consideration, the game felt, well, the gameplay experience felt unique and new and something, because I haven't played the first one. Storytelling was unique. The visuals really felt that are kind of blend in together with the storytelling experience. They drew you in. However, it did feel lacking in terms of gameplay. So much lacking that I felt a bigger disappointment. I mean, always asking myself, what if and what if? This was such a highly anticipated game, and seeing that, again, you consider many talented people behind it, and voice acting was incredible, but it's a game, and it felt that most of the time we're just walking, and there was some here and there and some puzzles to solve which weren't that interesting at all, and to some degree at the beginning, 1-2 times, but after that you really want something else. Something to entertain you as a gamer aside from the really high immersion of the game itself. I can also understand the lack of UI elements. They want to really give you a pure cinematic experience rather than putting UI that may impair this immersion. Also, having characters that look very realistic help you more, even better, get emotionally attached to them. And combat was fascinating, but I wish I just had more of it and something that's more related to progression of the character in the aspect of the combat. But there are no drops here of anything. It's not an RPG where you get, drops, better weapons, you're gonna find something, you're gonna make exploration exciting for you because you're gonna find new armor. There's nothing like that. So exploration is just, in most part, just enjoying the beautiful environment they created, but it doesn't feel rewarding at all when it comes to exploration.
Keep going!
Now, again, when we take a look at such an high anticipated game and we look at the gameplay itself, it felt that you want to be more entertained, more excited, have more gameplay elements that excite players to explore such a beautiful world. But as a pure cinematic experience with some gameplay and some interactive elements, puzzle solving elements, it was good, but far from being great. That those things that I want to see kind of injected here and there in a full game, part of it, but not taking a major part of the game. And it's like a beautiful scene. Sometimes, you just, alright, it's beautiful, but sometimes you just want something else. I mean, how long can you watch a beautiful scene or sit in front of the sea? I mean, you just want to stand up and find something, else entertaining to do. So same goes here. It's beautiful, it's great, it's immersive, but you want the gameplay to be immersive and exciting. And it just wasn't the case here. And that's why, if I look everything as a whole, it was a forgettable journey. And I know it's going to be a mixed bag for those who really loved the first one and I just expected something similar and loved the second one. There's going to be also many who just find the opposite, the game to be very lacking in all the aspects that I mentioned, even more. And don't get me wrong, the game has some of the ingredients that can lead to a game to be a masterpiece. Some of them, a few of them. But the game as an entire game is not there. It just makes me hope to see more games that look as incredible as this game is. Some of them, of course, I hope for my favorite personal genres, like an action RPG and Soulslike game, to be in such beautiful and immersive environment. There are some things that I think you should experience. A beautiful transition between the animations, how full and amazing the animations and character look, feels so human. The game that feels less gamey, the beautiful and rich environment, felt super optimized. It just ran so smooth that I was blown away. I play so many games where I get stutter and frame drops and so many issues with games that look much less impressive than that. So this is why I think you should experience that as a game. And I played this on the Xbox Game Pass, so I wasn't going to spend money on this game. I mean, I played for the Game Pass to play this game. And I think for a Game Pass experience, to experience something like that, it was worth it. But, oh boy, I wanted more. So yeah, I am disappointed. But I think it's worth it for those who actually see it as probably the greatest demo for Unreal Engine 5, although it's not tagged as such. It demonstrates well what Unreal Engine 5 is capable of. So maybe it's worth time for you. Thanks for watching.
This needs to be for something. Be sure